everyone. Thank you for joining us for another episode of CCIR Student Spotlight Scholar Series, where we interview our past students to learn more about their research and experience. My name is Victoria. I'm a new member of the CCIR Youth Outreach team, and I'm incredibly excited to welcome Keeren Setokusumo to today's episode. Keeren is a current senior in a high school in Jakarta, Indonesia, and she participated in CCIR's one-on-one research mentorship this summer. Her research focuses mainly on sociology, but particularly education and educational theory. And based on this, she ultimately produced a paper titled From Nationalism to Globalization, the shift between the 2013 and 2018 social science textbooks of Indonesia, which I will have the pleasure of learning about today. And welcome, Keeren. Hi.
Hi, Miss Petlova.
I'm Victoria. I'm the new intern at the youth outreach team for CCIR, and I'm going to be interviewing you today. Okay. So can you just introduce yourself, like your area of interest, just a brief introduction?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Keeren. I am from...
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, really? Sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it was my problem.
Sorry. Victoria?
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, Victoria. So my name is Keeren. I am from Jakarta, Indonesia, and I am a current senior in high school who's 17. Some of my interests are definitely sociology, but particularly sociology of education. And so that was what my research paper with CCIR was focused on. And that is the major that I'm going to be pursuing in college, hopefully, or it's generally just sociology. But if the schools do have sociology of education, then I plan to pursue that. And so I'm really interested in curriculum reform and also curriculum theory. But yeah, like I said before, just sociology in general.
And that's what your project was about? Can you give like a brief abstract, title, like a brief overview?
Yeah, so the title of my research paper was From Nationalism to Globalization, the shift between the 2013 and 2018 social science textbooks of Indonesia. And so Indonesia releases yearly these social science textbooks, the national curriculum uses, and so all the local schools that follow the national curriculum use the textbooks given. And so this is a wide range of disciplines. It's not only social science, it's like the mathematics, there are also languages, there are also other biological sciences, things like that. So the one I chose to focus on was social sciences because I feel like that area has the most potential in influencing students and how they, perceive the world. And so that was what I wanted to focus on, and where certain discourses in the textbooks may be, influencing the students in a negative or positive or biased way that we don't know, and something that it's important that curriculum theorists know so that in the future, when they create new curriculums, they can, rectify that problem. So that was sort of just a short abstract, but the findings that I got from it were, like I said in my title, From Nationalism to Globalization. And so in the earlier version of the textbook, which is the 2013 version, there was a lot of nationalistic narratives. And so nationalistic narratives are sort of like ideas being reproduced that really promote a country's nationalism, almost to the point that the country is superior over other countries. And so that can, disseminate a lot of wrongful ideas. And so I feel like it was important to be able to point that out in the textbook. So that was in the 2013. But then I compared it with the 2018 version of the textbook, which was really interesting because it had much less discourses of nationalism and way more about globalization and also about being internet connected with the rest of the world. And so that was really interesting for me to see how different the curriculum was in the two textbooks.
And that's really interesting, but is this on a high school level, college textbooks? Did you just look at all of them?
Yeah, so no, I didn't look at all of them because I feel like probably would take up too much time.
Yeah.
So I looked at year 9 specifically, so year 9 in high school, because I feel like year 9 is the first year that you transition into high school from middle school. And so that's where, most of your knowledge is probably solidified, because I feel like most people take in information from their high school years rather than their middle school years. And so I feel like in that area, I want to focus on what year had the most potential in influencing a student. And so from like a few studies that I found, year 9, especially that transition from middle school to high school, which is year 9, is a really important place to start.
Yeah. And you said that this could relate to how we change the curriculum in the future, right? Do you think you found the answer to your research question? Did you learn more about it? I don't know. Tell me.
Yeah, of course. So I think I definitely did not find the answer, because I'm still a high school student. And I feel like when I learn a bit more about about sociology, about how language really influences the student, how discourses do, how, even the placement of chapters in a textbook have effects on a student, like everything about a textbook really, then I feel like from there I can begin, hoping to find a concrete answer of how to really make this work, how to solidify the education system, especially in my home country, because it has a lot of areas that could be improved. But I don't think I did find the answer, but I did find a few insights, which was that definitely we need to focus on being more interconnected rather than, promoting like the supremacy of one country over another, because that could really impose some harmful ideologies in a student. So that's like the answer that I found. And I definitely found examples of what not to do in my case. And I feel like the evidence that I pointed out from my analysis was important for some people to see, because I feel like sometimes curriculum theorists, like people who create the curriculums, they may do it unconsciously, or like in their subconscious, maybe they have this type of bias that ends up being reproduced in the papers that they're writing for students. So I think being aware of that, maybe potential biases that you have, or being aware that may arise, and what not to do, what to do, different spheres of influence, that all really needs to come into play. And so people just need to be, a little bit more aware.
And what was a particularly interesting aspect of the course you took? Like straying away a little from the paper, and like, did anything in particular from this course inspire you to write this paper?
Yeah, so when I started with, so my professor was Dr. Gazelle. So when I started with Dr. Gazelle, I had no knowledge of sociology whatsoever, because I think most high schools don't really teach sociology. But I sort of knew that I wanted to do sociology, because I did my own research on it. I read a lot of books. And so I thought like that seems like a really important area of interest that I want to pursue in the future. So I started with the foundations with Dr. Gazelle. I mean, she helped me, learn the basics of sociology. And then from there, we started straying into different areas. Interested, like it became an affinity of mine to really pursue it. And I thought it's really, it seems so important, because when I was at school, I'm privileged to have such a great education. I could, engage in this program with Dr. Gazelle, but I realized like so many other people don't have these opportunities. And also the quality of education that's in my home country still needs a lot of rectifying. So that was an area that I thought it would be so beneficial for both me and for people in the future if I pursued this area, and hopefully made, I created actionable steps. So that was where like I started wanting to do sociology of education. But before this program, I really didn't have that much like idea.
That's really nice. And was there any like lecture, paper you read in particular that really stuck with you?
Yeah. So there was a lot of reading, because I would get like 4 papers after every session, and I'd have to read like a big part and then write a chunk of like a paragraph responding to a prompt that Dr. Gazelle would give me. So from those readings, I definitely do have a lot, but 2 in particular that I really, really enjoyed was a book called Education in Indonesia that had a lot of statistics that I didn't know about, and that really helped shape my research paper in the end. But besides shaping my research paper, it also, it made me super interested in the topic. I started sharing the statistics to everybody. I was saying like, oh, it's so important for us to know these things. So that was one, and it's called Education in Indonesia, and it's written by an Indonesian and also another sociologist. I can't remember their names, but it's called Education in Indonesia. And then another one was a paper about Turkey's military national curriculum, and how Dr. Gazelle told me about this because she's Turkish, and she was telling me about how in Turkey, all the students are required to take a course where the military gives like lectures, which is really interesting because like officials from the military would give like they would give lessons, even though they didn't have any study in pedagogy. They don't know how to do any. They don't really know how to teach. They were just told like, this is what you need to do. And so there was a sociologist who wrote about this, and she interviewed a few of the Turkish officials and also the officers in charge. And she was just showing the analysis of how this can also reproduce certain ideologies in the future in students. And so it really helped also shape my paragraph and my paper.
So this is like an international problem. Yeah. And what was the most challenging part about this whole research project? What was the most rewarding part? Like,
yeah. So I think the most challenging part is, first of all, I am 17. So
yeah.
I think the fact that I didn't have any experience in it was really hard for me to really gain ground at first. And I think maybe hopefully Dr. Gazelle can like testify to this. At first, it was really tough for me to like get into this scheme and also focus on the writing, have the proper writing that is professional enough for a research paper. That was one of my challenges. Second, it was very long, the process. And so I started pretty late. I started in July or I started in late June. And then it spanned all the way to October. So that's into my school.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would meet with Dr. Gazelle weekly on Fridays, and I think like sometimes it was tough because I had to like cancel plans with friends, or I had to stay up late finishing up like papers and everything alongside with all of my schoolwork. And I'm a senior applying to college, so that was like the tough part with the productivity and like being productive with my time. But it was so rewarding in the end. I mean, I think if I had the chance, I would still do it again. I would do all of this over again because like seeing the final product, seeing that I'm here today, like talking with you, Victoria. I mean, it was so rewarding. And then also having Dr. Gazelle lead me along the way, making like bonding with her, like creating this relationship with her was, I mean, it was like, yeah, rewarding.
Yeah, I can relate because I took a course too in mathematical logic this summer. And I knew nothing about research papers, nothing about mathematical logic, It was really hard.
Yeah, it was.
But the professors are so nice. They give you extra reading in your interest. So yeah.
Yeah.
What else? What is one thing that you might want to share with people who are sort of apprehensive about taking similar courses that require personal research, like they give you a lot of freedom, sort of.
Yeah. So I think definitely I was apprehensive because I started like July, and I mean my summer was like basically almost over, and I was nervous, like I don't know if I have enough time. And then the whole process of the application was really long. So definitely I feel for whoever out there is nervous and like a little bit apprehensive about this. But at the same time, I think you can also take encouragement from the fact that I had no idea what I was doing in the beginning. I just took a shot. I just threw a dart in the dark, and I tried it out. I said like, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't. But if it does, then it would produce, I mean, it would produce so many like results that you wouldn't have known before. So I think that fact should really propel you to be to take the chance and to take these courses. And also the fact that, CCIR, or I'm sure any other course out there, would accommodate to your like timing, because right now, COVID is still so rampant. You have to do a lot of Zoom meetings. So not everyone always has the same schedule, and people are definitely understanding when you don't have enough time on this day, or you need to extend your deadline on this other day. So with all these considerations, I think it's just about supporting yourself, having the right support around you, and like being persisting through, like not easily relenting to all of the difficulties of the process. But in the end, it's really worth it.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think also the hard part was sort of like choosing your topic, because they give you this like crash course in like 2-3 months, and then they just send you off to do your own thing.
Yes, that is so true. When I first started, my topic was so broad. It was so broad, and I had no idea. I think I said education in Indonesia. And then Dr. Gazelle was sort of like, okay, I think we need to specify it a little bit more, because that's way too broad.
Yeah, but it was really nice. It was a nice experience. They were some of the nicest teachers I've had.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I think that's everything I wanted to ask. It was really nice meeting you. Your project was really interesting.
Sorry?
Your project was really interesting, like sociology. It's like even on a psychological level.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I also heard about your mathematical logistics course that you took. I mean, I don't really like math, but it already sounds interesting with your research.
Yeah. But anyway, it was nice meeting you. Thank you for coming to the interview.
Of course.
Yeah. Bye.
Thank you so much, Victoria. Bye.
Yep.